would happen if Pennywise were to fight the Demogorgon from Stranger Things? We already know that the Demogorgon has claws, teeth, a crazy mouth that can go in between dimensions. But where this becomes a problem for Pennywise is the fact that this creature doesn't feel any fear, meaning that the Demogorgon would have an advantage on Pennywise. Now, this shapeshifting clown from hell is going to have multiple abilities.
I don't like clowns.
Number one, it could cause a distraction against the Demogorgon with just balloons, and then he could turn into your favorite spider from your nightmares. But the Demogorgon isn't really known for its intelligence, therefore Pennywise is just going to outsmart this thing and inevitably kill it. So the winner is Pennywise the Super Clown. What would happen? 1v1, who's gonna win? Venom or Carnage? Let's talk about the best kisser in all of Spider-Man history, Venom. He is bigger than Carnage, and he is coming off a victory from the first film. Not to mention he has a ridiculously strong bond with Eddie Brock. However, even though Carnage is smaller, he has way more abilities in his arsenal than Eddie Brock does with Venom. And Cletus Cassidy is far more dangerous than Eddie Brock could ever be. Oof! Plus, if we're just talking about the symbiotes here, Carnage is a much stronger symbiote than Venom is. So this not-so-ticklish Elmo ends up winning the fight. The 1v1 who... If you're a fan of Venom, this is gonna trigger you. As awesome as Venom is, the movie itself really wasn't that great.
Don't eat me.
The highlight of the movie was seeing Venom talk to Eddie. None of the fight sequences, nothing that Venom did, just their interaction. That's pretty weak. Plus, at the end of the movie, it's made out to be that Venom dies, but then there's no explanation for how he comes back in the next 5 seconds. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Venom, and I think Venom is the best part of the movie. But everything else in that film, especially the character development, was weak. Let's just hope the sequel can make some much-needed changes. By the way, if this movie isn't rated R, I'm going to be disappointed. Facts. If you're a fan Godzilla vs. the Mind Flayer, which one wins?
No monkey.
Look, the Mind Flayer is the creepiest thing to ever happen to rats and rodents, but for some reason everybody thinks that this thing could fight Godzilla and win. And I'm a huge fan of this smoke monster on steroids, but it only has melee attacks. And yes, it could amass an army of Demogorgons, but it's not going to do anything against Godzilla. Godzilla's the destroyer of worlds. He's a chunky boy. His atomic breath alone could keep the smoke monster at bay for the entire fight. And even though he's trying to eat me in this image, he literally would smash the like button. Not because he wants to, but because he has to. Winner, Godzilla. Godzilla knew this fight was coming. Carnage versus the Death Angel. Which one wins?
I'm ready.
This Mr. Krabs looking symbiote only wants to do one thing, and that's kill everybody with its weapons. And unlike Venom, Carnage can throw all of his weapons from his body and then they disintegrate after 10 seconds. In other words, this man is the king of throwing knives. Carnage's attacks from a distance wouldn't do anything against the Death Angel simply because of its armor, but it could get inside of the Death Angel's armor through its head. And even though this thing could hear Carnage coming, it wouldn't really matter once Carnage was on top of it. Therefore, the winner here is Carnage. Who would win in a 1v1? The creature from A Quiet Place or the Xenomorph? The alien's gonna have a massive advantage against the creature from A Quiet Place simply because it is always hiding and not making a lot of noise. And it has a built-in defense mechanism which is acid for blood. But these creatures from A Quiet Place are going to be immune to the attacks from the alien because of the armor it has on its body. Not to mention the only time that the Xenomorph could actually land a hit on this thing is when it exposes its head when it's trying to hear. Plus the claws on these creatures could literally rip through steel, which means it's going to go through the Xenomorph like butter. However, the acid blood is going to destroy that thing's arm one way or another, which means this Death Angel is only going to be able to kill one Xenomorph and one Xenomorph only, so it wins, but barely. Ooh, spoopy. Who would win in a one animal on Earth that stands a chance against the creatures from A Quiet Place? Come on, you knew the steroid-injected goldfish was gonna be on this list. I know these creatures are tough as hell, but if you take one of these things into the water with a whole pack of orcas, it's going to drown it. And then of course the honey badger. Thinking cap on. Honey badger don't give a fuck. Honey badgers can withstand a lion attack. Honestly, the honey badger might just challenge the damn creature for a 1v1 fight just to prove its dominance. The only thing that could be more BM than that is having a honey badger ride on the back of an orca whale into a fight with one of these creatures. I would pay the full cost of admission to see that fight. It's one animal. Venom vs. Demogorgon. Which one would win in an ultimate 1v1? The Demogorgon has sharp claws, crazy teeth, one hell of a mouth, and can go in between dimensions. Spoopy. Venom has multiple abilities, including being able to conjure up weapons. And he's able to survive the harsh environment of outer space, so even if the Demogorgon were to bring him into a different dimension, he could probably survive. Stranger things could happen in this fight, but since the Demogorgon has no sound attacks, the likelihood of it getting the advantage even inside its other dimension are low. Therefore, Venom is likely to win. What if this happened? Ah! Venom vs. Demogorgon. Here's a fight you would pay money Here's a fight you would pay money to see.
Take it.
The Demogorgon versus the Death Angel is gonna be close. No doubt in my mind, the Demogorgon could easily sneak up on one of these monsters. The Demogorgon could start the fight out, getting the home field advantage by smacking this thing from behind and it being unable to defend itself. However, the armor on this thing is terrifying and so is this image. The problem is the Demogorgon has very little defense and is more offensive. And since this murder machine on steroids has both, I think the winner here is the Death Angel. But what about the Smoke Monster? Here's a fight. What would happen if Venom were to fight the creatures from A Quiet Place? One monster sensitive to sound, the other one hunts off of sound. Venom can conjure up a bunch of weapons, and he looks like he's about to eat me. Ah! Now this Death Angel has some nasty teeth, some crazy arms, and one hell of an armor kit. Egghead, who do you think wins this fight?
I don't know, but let there be carnage.
You had to say it, didn't you? Even though the Quiet Place monster has armor all over its body, the Venom symbiote can still seep inside of it. In other words, its greatest strength would become its greatest weakness because the symbiote could literally kill it from the inside. What if the symbiote started controlling the monster? What would happen if Venom... You know that tigers hunt people? And even though tigers in zoos can look rather friendly, I can assure you that this guy right here would be a Snickers bar in the wild. A village in northern Siberia had a problem when they were being hunted by tigers. Tigers will stalk their prey similarly to how your ex stalks your social media profiles. And once that village in Siberia figured out how the tigers were stalking them, they invented an ingenious solution. Tigers will watch the way the prey uses its eyes in order to sneak up on it. What the villagers decided to do was put a mask on the back of their head that had 2 eye holes, that way the tigers felt like they couldn't sneak up on them. And in doing so, all tiger attacks in the village completely stopped. You know that tiger... At the end of this video, I'm going to prove to you. Let's settle this fight once and for all. Lion versus grizzly bear. Which one would actually win? Simba on steroids right here can take a hit. The claws of a lion are specifically designed for gripping and holding on to prey. Kind of like that clingy ex-girlfriend that will never let you go. Then we have the 1-ton teddy bear. Ain't nobody hugging this teddy bear. His claws are specifically designed for slashing and ripping open flesh. And the moment that this heavyweight contender decides that he no longer wants to deal with the lion's crap, he's just gonna pimp slap him into oblivion. Not even Joe Rogan's gonna be able to save the lion from those claws. Oof! The winner? Grizzly bear. Let a 1v1, who's gonna win? Venom or Carnage? Let's talk about the best kisser.
I just figured out how to...
If you like Shamu, do not watch this video. Orca whales eat moose, and are out here really trying to murk grizzly bears. Not to mention they're willing to 1v1 the Floyd Mayweather of sharks, the great whites. If you could ask Shamu what he wanted on his pizza, he would literally say everything. This black and white murderous goldfish has no brakes when it comes to seals either. If you want to be in one of my streams and possibly have a chance to play games, how are we going to get? Hey TikTok! Picture it. Did you know that who would win in a 1v1? The creature from a 2 lies society tells. How are we going to lies your parents told you about
Cartoon logic. Listens to music with his eyes. Come on.